everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Viall Files Bachelor in Paradise Recap Edition. And boy, do we have a doozy for you. Lots to talk about. My wonderful girlfriend, Natalie, and her dear friend, and my friend too.
Thank you.
Kiki.
Oh, I was literally going to roast you if you didn't call me Kiki. I was like waiting for you to say my name was Keaton, but I feel honored that you called me Kiki. Thank you.
Milburn?
Yeah,
Milburn.
That's about right.
Milburn.
Yeah.
Milburn.
Milburn.
Just first name only.
Just Kiki is fine.
Thanks for being with us, ladies. Lots to get into. Before we get into all things Bachelor, well, I guess it's still Bachelor. Tino, the episode, it has been recorded. It's done. It's completed. It is in the hopper. It is out on Thursday.
I heard it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tino's still in this room.
Hey, Tino.
He just got done. He's feeling very vulnerable right now. Allie, Amanda, what can the audience look forward to tomorrow listening to Tino's interview? Don't give away too much. Did he deliver?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did he disappoint?
No.
What are we going to say? Yes, he disappointed. He delivered, but he disappointed.
Skip.
Has your opinion of Tino changed?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's so cool to get a look into like the inner workings of the way people like emotionally process and like handle stuff. And I feel like he really did like talk through all of it in a super high level of detail. So it was a lot of additional context.
Great.
And it's so much fun when he's in the room while we're talking about it.
Yeah. How did you feel about it, Tino?
He thought it was rad. Period.
He says that sheepish.
I don't know.
The sheep shipper.
Skip that word. I don't know if you've heard. I have a book that's out. I don't care. Whatever. I'm proud of it. People like it. It's a USA Today bestseller. Who would have thought?
We were at an event last night, and they introduced Nick as award-winning podcast host, The Viall Files, and best-selling author.
That is
Nick
so
Viall.
iconic.
Right?
That's so sick.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, too.
Anyway, I'm really proud of the book, and I think it's good, and people are really enjoying it, and the reviews have been amazing, and I hope if you haven't taken the time to check out the book, either by the book or the audio tape, both fantastic. I hope that you do. I think you'll be surprised. Yeah, viallfiles.com for all the appropriate links, whether you want the audiobook or the hardcover. That's a great gift for a friend.
I read it and thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. I read a chapter in the beginning when he first gave it to me, and then I took it home and like literally finished it and loved it. And now my single friends have it. I mean, I'm in a relationship, but I feel like it was really good, even if you're in a relationship, which
I've been really happy with that feedback too. Anyway, So check it out. All right, take it away, Allie.
Oh, God. Well, let's just get right into it. So Rachel, good friend Rachel, went on...
Rachel is in Tino's ex?
That's the one. Yep.
Earmuffs, Tino.
Went on the Off the Vine podcast, kind of give a little recap, update on life, update on Avon, update on Tino. The Avon stuff was pretty vague. Just kind of said nothing really happened.
Let me guess. She stopped short of saying there's absolutely nothing there, so that...
Yeah, she definitely left it open door, I felt like, in the phrasing.
Like, who knows what will happen? We've been traveling so much.
So there's nothing there, and they kind of like Hannah and Tyler for a long time just let people hope.
Speculate.
Left it open-ended, totally. Yeah. So
Gotcha.
she just said, we're going to see where it goes, if it goes anywhere. So kind of vague.
Gotcha.
She's not actively dating, but also isn't in a place where she feels like she's still healing and shouldn't date. So it's like she's open to
good.
dating, but
She's
she's not
moved
like
on.
actively pursuing it.
Okay.
So thought that was an interesting update. Peter and Kelly,
Woo!
little social media launch. Peter at
They're
Yankee
back.
Stadium.
They went to like an event.
Well, he posted her on Instagram. He's holding her in
They've
his
done
arms.
that before though, and then like
Not like that.
I don't know.
And he entitled it Home Run.
It's still
I had to check.
unclear if they're like a thing.
No, they're for sure a thing.
They're back
a
together.
source told E! News.
A source.
It's less pressure this time around, and they've been easing back into a relationship. They are currently long distance, but have been traveling together. Both of them travel a lot and have made it a point to meet up.
That was Peter's mom.
Is it? Barb for sure.
Barb for
sure is the source.
Reached out to E! News.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, hey, I did text them about coming on the show. Hopefully we'll be able to find out how this love found itself again after what I thought was a rather unceremonious ending.
Some interesting press on Kelly's behalf. Yeah. Some interesting statements.
Well, we'll see. But until then, congratulations to the lovers. I hope it works out this time.
Home run.
Yeah.
Home run.
Big home run.
Do they have Barbara's approval? They must have Barbara's approval.
They wouldn't be together if they didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know.
But Claire Crawley, got engaged. She was talking about Ryan and the relationship and why she kind of knew he was the one, I guess. And she said, with Ryan, love is just easy. He really does add to my happiness, and he fills up my bucket on my days where I am not happy and I don't feel loved. He's very grounding, very masculine, which allows me to be in my feminine. I don't feel this need or urge to stick up for myself. I flagged that, which I have felt in the past and can come off certain way in relationships. With him, it's more receiving, where he just loves on me and is always so good to me. I just thought that was a very interesting way of summarizing why she likes him.
Claire has a very interesting way with her words. She's an expressive person.
I feel like Claire and Genevieve want the same thing. They just both want to be touched
and loved,
and shown some affection in PDA.
How long has Claire been with her?
Well, when they went public
Ryan.
on Instagram, someone was like the best secret, like a year in the making.
Okay.
So clearly they were dating in private for a while.
It sounds like she's found someone who is making her feel ways that she has longed for in the past, and hopefully that's in fact what she needs. So congratulations to Claire.
It was a very cute video. They did a little lantern thing up into the sky, and then he got down on one knee.
Great.
Very cute.
Well, congratulations to Claire and Ryan. Ryan? Do we know anything about Ryan?
He has 2 children.
Okay.
I think 2 daughters. Yeah. So she talked about that in the interview as well, of like how they're going to be involved with everything. But
awesome. Let's get to the episode. What an episode it was. Episodes. I always forget. Now we have like
double header.
So it pretty much it starts with Peter and Brittany. Is it Brittany? Yeah, Peter and Brittany. They went on a date that ended last episode. It seemed like mutually it didn't go well. Brittany made it pretty clear that she wasn't interested in Peter after the date. She said as much to America and her friends. Peter said that and then some. And then a shitstorm happened.
Casey did start.
That Casey did start.
Yep.
I thought this fight was, one, just kind of really relatable in terms of just dating. I feel like Bachelor in Paradise, again, as much as any season that I remember, I think are really like showing some very relatable dating situations. And what I mean by that in terms of like a classic bad date, where it's kind of like they have both kind of points of view. To be clear, I think we all agree, like Peter handled himself poorly. He handled his disappointment very immaturely. But I thought it was interesting how, Peter had this point of view of she didn't ask him any questions. And then she had a point of view that he only talked about, pizza or himself. And I thought that was just like fairly common because they're probably both true from both their points of view. My guess is like Peter started talking about pizza, whatever the fuck he talks about, and immediately started like giving Brittany the ick or turning him off. And at some point early in the date, she was probably just like, I don't like this guy.
I think it was the question, what do you like about me? It started out with like, what did you first notice about me?
Yeah.
And I think she referenced that again in the fight as saying this was another sort of thing that I found really challenging to navigate in the moment.
And whatever the reason, she just decided that she wasn't interested in him. And we do this thing on dates where we think people owe us their attention or consideration, which I guess to some degree in a date we do, but like it's a first date. It's like you're talking to a stranger. And when you hear things like, oh, well, they didn't ask me any questions, like the possibility is they didn't want to learn anything by the time they got to the point where they were supposed to ask questions. You know what I'm saying? So
don't you think, though, that because he accused Brittany of being like a clout chaser and only talking about her TikTok and Instagram, that it could go the other way because Peter only talked about his pizza? Like, so is that not the same thing?
Totally. I think Peter was way off base with how he handled it. I'm just saying, I think this is a perfect example of how two people can go on a date and have the he said, she said story. And like, if this wasn't on TV and we didn't get to see it, Peter would go to his buddies and be like, oh, she only talked about herself and whatever, and she did this. And she's just like, this guy fucking talked about pizza and literally just kept asking me how, like, this guy tried to get me to like gas him up, tell me about my face, like. I just think it's kind of interesting when you hear both sides.
She was also saying, like, read the room after he, like, tried to kiss her. And I think that that's also where, like, a lot of the problem lies. It's like he wasn't really reading the scenario right. And that's what led to, like, a lot of issues or, like, kind of hurting his ego, I feel like. Because she was just he doesn't know how to read the room or read the situation well. Like, if she was very closed off, like, He did not pick up on that whatsoever.
I said this last week. Peter, I think he's lacked a good mentor. And I think some wrong guy in his life, some buddy or some older uncle or whatever, was just like said, just say all these things on a date, do all this, and this will happen. And so he's never actually thought about like getting to know someone.
For sure.
Peter dates like he has it all. He read some manual or he took some advice from the wrong person, and he can't quite figure out what he's doing wrong.
The way he fights is so extreme. Like you're a waste of time. You are a waste of my time. Like he cuts deep.
He's the bad breaker-upper in Seinfeld.
For
Did you ever see that episode? You guys gotta watch
is,
Seinfeld.
Sorry, we gotta add that to our to-do
Very
list.
somber moment.
Wow.
It was like, woo!
Yeah. He's the bad breaker-upper in Seinfeld.
Yeah, 100%.
He handles it very poorly. Obviously, Peter's a very insecure man.
But why? I just think there's a part of me that even talking about it as a two-sided fight, I'm like, he is so much worse behaved than her that it's really hard for me to even like want to go back and forth and be like, like there's two perspectives here, because I just feel like he was such a massive asshole and acted so entitled. And then like his exit.
Yeah,
I agree. And talking about her looks.
Buongiorno, bitches. The pizza king is out.
Yeah.
Is that what you were
and
talking
the best part
about?
was when Jacob was like, that means good morning.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the fight. I'm just talking about, as a dating show where I think it's interesting to look at how, again, like she probably didn't ask him questions. That's all I'm saying. And
because
that's
I don't
also
think she was
fine.
interested.
It's also what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
I
read
just
the
think-
room.
I just think it's
All in all,
interesting.
read
It's
the room.
interesting when you hear people's perspectives of a date, how they could be saying what sounds like two different things, and they're kind of agreeing. They just both are they might feel justified for how they feel the way they do. I just think that's interesting. At-home tests. The more you know, the better you are. And Everlywell is making it easier to get the information you need about your wellness. So whether it's just some basic wellness or maybe some STI test. Also, Everlywell's women's health test measures 11 biomarkers known to play a role in your overall wellness and health, and checks for abnormal levels that may be keeping you from feeling your best.
They also have supplements. I got some fish oil from them. So it's really just like this approach to health, making it easily accessible, sending it directly to your house. If you do the at-home tests, it already comes with like pre-packaged shipping label.
Yes, because I'm not getting out a printer.
No. And
no one
like
has
you
to.
package
Even
it
when
all
they have
up.
printers these
Everything
days?
you need is all in there. The little bag to put it in, the label. They have an app that'll notify you like when they've received your samples, when they're ready.
Also, I highly recommend this food sensitivity test they have. You'd be surprised how many foods that you're sensitive to that you don't realize you're sensitive to, because there's a difference between like being allergic and like you'll die if you eat it, and just being like, you know what, you realize you're always feeling a little bit uncomfortable. It's because you eat 2 oranges every day, and maybe don't. And for our listeners of the show, Everlywell is offering a special discount, 20% off, an at-home lab test at everlywell.com/VIALL. That's everlywell.com/VIALL for 20% off your next at-home lab test. everlywell.com/VIALL. Match Dating App, they are focused on you. That's right, because Match Dating App believes that if you can't be your best self, then you can't be your best self with someone else. And honestly, we subscribe to that. We talk all the time on the show on how you should invest in yourself, take time for yourself, treat yourself to a nice dinner.
Like we've all been on just like terrible dates, or if it's like been stood up, or if we have a lot of listeners call in and they've been ghosted, or just like it's exhausting. And sometimes, like Nick says, it's like shopping at a mall. Sometimes you get overwhelmed. You need to take a break from shopping.
You need to take a break.
Take the time for yourself, and then use a company like Match that has really high caliber people to choose from.
So who are
when
also like fresh.
Yeah.
They're everyone. They only want people on their app who are refreshed. They've gotten off the beaches of paradise. They've gotten to the hotel. They've gotten some AC. They've glammed up a little bit.
you don't want to
And they
date
know
a
who they are,
project.
and they're dating with intention.
Yeah. Don't date to change someone.
They have the right mindset for love,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what they're advocating for. Match believes that the most important relationships is with yourself. So in a world where you can choose to do anything or anyone, choose you first. Because dating someone who knows what they want and won't settle for less, well, that's sexy as hell. I could not agree more. I think the people at Match Dating have read my book. If you do you already know the best relationships show up when you show up for yourself first. There's never been a better time to try Match. Download the Match app today. What level of blame do we apply to Casey for starting this? Because there is the argument that like you kind of complain to your friends about like dates. Granted, this is a reality TV situation, and Do you think Casey should have confronted Peter and said, hey, I don't like you saying these things about Brittany, or is it fine that he did that and started this fight?
Casey said, me and Peter are not friends.
Yeah.
So,
But he could have gone to Peter and said, hey, man, like, I don't really appreciate you saying that to her. Like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he could have definitely said something because he was saying it directly to his face. And I don't know if it was the way it was edited, but he was just seeming like, yeah, like that's crazy or whatever when he was calling her a clout chaser. And then he went and told her. But also at the end of the day, like, I like how Michael was like, yeah, I would have told her too. Like, I felt like that was the right thing to do. I would have appreciated being told that.
Brittany acted like she didn't really know Casey at all. She was just like,
She walked right past
she just
him.
walked past him like,
Casey was like, I'm hoping to get a rose from this. And then he told her, she was like,
she's like, excuse me, let me go handle it.
anyways.
Did he didn't say that to her, did he?
Yeah.
That I'm hoping to get a
No,
rose
not
for this?
to her,
Oh.
but in an
interview.
moment, he said that.
Well-
But Casey faints.
What the fuck?
And like, if I ever have any health problem, the person that I don't want near me is Rodney. I mean, Rodney like is going to faint, and Rodney's just like,
Did he just let him fall?
He was like barely holding his shoulders up, and he's like, I think I'm gonna faint. And Rodney's just like has one shoulder on him. He's like, yeah, got you, bro. And then he just literally collapses,
the
like
ground.
no help, nothing.
but
Nothing
of
was going on.
course, Johnny, who I believe is a paramedic, right?
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
He is like at his side. He's like, get him some water. Let's do this. Saves the day for sure.
Props to Johnny.
Yeah.
Ronnie, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ronnie just
Ronnie's
dropped
like,
him.
I smile. That's my job. I'm easy to be around. I make people laugh.
I feel like he's so optimistic. He's
Yeah.
like, no, of course nothing bad is happening.
Yeah.
Casey's like,
Fine.
I'm dizzy. He's like, you're great, man.
Yeah, you're
You're
great.
great.
So you're like,
Wasn't
I'm
it-
about
he
to
said something along the lines. He was like, oh, you were serious. Like, 'cause he was like, I just feel dizzy, man. And Rodney was like, yeah, man, it's a stressful time. And he was like, oh my. Like,
Do you
it's like-
do you think that Casey only fainted because of the heat, or do you think he was watching this fight go down and having like a panic attack of being like, oh fuck, what did I start?
I think he admitted that.
I think unfortunately it was a panic attack because like in the ambulance they were like literally talking. He was like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said anything, and like
Yeah.
I feel like he knew that it was because he was too stressed and anxious.
Also, wasn't the ankle situation a little delayed?
Where did that come from?
That's what I was
Suddenly it
wondering.
I think
like-
he fell and fainted, and it hurt. Must have twisted his ankle.
they were definitely together, but you would have thought that when he came to, he would have said like, oh, my ankle. But it felt like we had like 10 minutes of him.
It also was a
being
really
fine.
slow fall. It's really
Yeah.
gradual. So I was just kind of wondering, like, when did that occur? You know?
How long did it take him to get to
Mhm.
the ground?
Yeah.
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 What do we think of Jill telling Peter to leave?
Jill was inserting herself in a lot of situations this episode. This is multiple episodes.
Yeah, it's like I didn't like how Peter handled it, but I don't know if like we needed him to be bombarded and like have all these people kick him out.
But also, like, did he need to go to a rose ceremony and not get a rose? Like, he could just go,
I mean, I guess.
you know?
Yeah.
It's just time.
I agree. I just felt
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It was,
Like,
a little,
after
it was a little
that,
aggressive
just-
at the moment.
You can just go.
I just when like the guys showed up, it was like he was a dick, but like I don't know. It seemed like they made it into a bigger. I mean, it's reality TV, but
I think the thing that activated Jill was that Brittany said something about feeling uncomfortable, and then Jill like saw red and was like, we're going to take care of that right now.
Yeah.
And
And then
escalated.
Genevieve joined in,
Yes.
yeah,
you know?
I guess. All right. Well,
Moving on.
moving on.
Oh, wait, we should talk about Danielle's
Mhm.
entrance before the rose ceremony.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because it is.
Oh,
Yeah. So Danielle's here.
Alumni of your
little
season.
more enthusiasm there.
Yeah.
I kind of hated how they presented this relationship to us because it seems very forced. It's just like it's not even like, oh, we're gonna have it's not like oh they just happened to meet. Like this whole season up until this point has been this like big setup for Michael, and then he had this relationship, and then he has these like chats with Wells, and it's just like, you know, every time there's going to be a moment, so it's like, go talk to Wells, and Wells asks the appropriate questions like, oh, how you feeling? Do you think you can still find love? It was just such a setup where then she comes down, and then they have Danielle give Michael the last rose. He should have got the first rose. That was the most obvious rose. That might have been more obvious than Serene and Brandon.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's just like, I don't know. So that's what, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have no idea. I mean, we'll see this relationship unfold. I just think I don't like how the show presented this relationship to us. it seemed so manufactured. And so like to me, it takes away the opportunity for at least myself to like really see if there's something more, because it seems like the show was like, you two are going to fucking date. You both have dealt with death. We're going to talk about it till you can't fucking talk about it anymore. And then we're going to talk about it again. And then we're going to talk about it again. And we're going to keep reminding people that you've dealt with death and you're going to fall in love over it. And that's how it felt to me, that they are forcing us to like make sure they fall in love. So it's hard for me to wonder if it's authentic, because there must be a ton of pressure for both of them to like each other, because the show clearly has made it like important to them, for them to fall in love so that we can have them talk about death. That's how I feel. Sorry, I had to.
Wow, you got that out, didn't you?
Yeah.
Was I the only one who's a tiny bit confused? Or seeing that, I thought I'd misinterpreted the conversation Michael had with Sierra, because I thought he'd said, I'm not ready. And so I thought it was kind of a general thing and he was trying to depersonalize it from Sierra. So it was confusing to then see him be like, but I really want to stay here. Like, was anybody else like thrown off by that?
Yeah, I mean, we're huge Michael A. fans here. But yes, they're going so out of their way to make him out to be so truly wonderful that it's almost like, yeah, it's almost too far, where it's a bit of a contradiction, where it's just like we want him to have this relationship and express his struggle. And part of his struggle allows them to set up Danielle. She's the savior. She comes down the steps, like right as Michael's like, I guess I'm going home. Like, I'm going to pack my bags, like obviously none of this is coincidental. And so, yeah, it makes it seem almost like it was a bit disingenuous towards Sierra.
Yeah, or just that the breakup wasn't for the reasons that he said it was.
Totally.
For.
I think it's more like that. He was trying to like soften the blow. He didn't want it to be a personal thing. He just happened to make a statement that said he's not ready on a TV show where then we see him date someone else the next week.
Yeah. I just ultimately don't think he
gave the right reason.
Was that into her.
Oh, yeah.
He also said she was moving too fast. And I think that was like really like also one of the main things that they were struggling with. So he probably just felt both things and made one of them sound better than the other.
Well, and he's obviously not moving fast, because Danielle on their first date was like, she was strongly implying
she just said
she wanted him to kiss him.
What's on your mind right now? And he was like, I just love how easy this is.
It did work out.
What's on your mind? And she was like, well, obviously not the same thing as you. And he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Very awkward.
Yeah, but notable moment.
What are you going to do?
It kind of felt to me, it was like Danielle was like, yeah, no, I'll date Michael A, and I'm going to come down, and Michael A is like.
No, but he was so excited to see her when she came down. He was like hyped.
He also called her Danny. He
Besties.
didn't say Danielle. He said Danny and ran up to her.
But then they did this whole like, we haven't met.
But they did admit to messaging.
You're the champion of a FaceTime relationship.
Yeah, okay, Nick.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying, again, I hate how I wish they would have had her come down episode 1 along with Michael and just let's see if there's something there.
Do you think it's weird that she didn't talk to anyone else? She just had because typically when a newcomer comes, they'll like pull people, suss out the vibes.
Well, I think it just speaks to just the show not even trying to pretend that they don't, like, these two are dating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But also, if they have, I mean, it was the same thing for Brandon and Serene. Like, if they are talking before the show, then, like, why are they going to play the game of, like, talking to anyone else? Like, no, like, we're only here for a month. Like, let's get down to business.
Totally. Yeah, that's why I just wish they would have set them up sooner rather than episode 6.
Yeah, rather than, like, put Sierra in the mix.
Can we talk about the quote that Danielle said at
It was good.
What was it? The fire we have is the love that they left behind.
No, you made a fire with the love that was left behind.
I made a fire with the fire.
Okay,
carry the two.
All right. Well, either way, Natalie was crying when she was watching it. Beautiful. She had tears in her eyes.
I started a flame with the fire you left behind, or something like that.
That's it. I started
a fire with the love you left
behind. It was the love you left behind.
I started a fire with the love you left behind.
Yes.
It's good. Yeah.
It's great.
I thought that was really...
And Michael was like, he was like touched after that.
Yeah.
Truly.
I thought that was
really sweet.
We
needed something like that after they kept talking about death.
We did need a nice closer.
Yeah.
To end that.
I hope they don't. We get it. They both have dealt with death. I'm ready to not have the show make them talk about it again.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I don't know.
Did Danielle talk about it with you on your season?
Yeah. First date.
She was your first date?
Yep. Oh. That was why. So yeah, Danny and Michael.
I'm rooting for it.
I am too. I love Michael. He can wear his V-neck and his crystals and I'll still love him. No matter what he does, I love him.
And his shoes.
Michael.
Yeah, and his toms or whatever they are. I love him.
We love Michael.
Yeah, he could do no wrong in my eyes.
All right. What rose ceremony 2 finally happens. Justin and James go home. Justin, we love you. It was time to go.
I wish it would have been on Justin's terms. I wish Justin would have been like, you know what?
I don't know.
It's not for me.
I don't know if Justin's ever going to leave on his terms. He's a fighter. Like, I'll say this about Justin. He genuinely wants to meet someone.
I agree with you. I think he's there for all the right reasons. I feel like he's like very sought on like finding love. He had like a few cringy moments. I could have looked past those, you know, the asking for the kiss on the birthday. I could have lived without that moment. I thought that was a little, but he meant well. I just feel bad that like it didn't end up working for him. Like that sucks. It was rough.
It's okay. You'll be fine.
Yeah, he's definitely fine now.
He came to our birthday party.
He's definitely
great.
fine
He's
now.
doing well.
Thriving.
All right. So morning after, Danielle reaches out to Michael, and so we got the backstory of Danny and Michael, and this is where the episode really takes off. Jesse Palmer comes in. I thought this was brilliant. This is amazing. He comes in, tells everyone that the women are leaving paradise. Everyone's freaking out.
Jill is crying
Jill is
for days.
It seemed like what it would be days, and then in walk
Jasenia.
Jasenia, Sarah.
Kate.
I didn't catch her name, but she's from
Some
Bachelor Australia.
Yeah.
And then we had the guy from Bachelor Australia.
I think she's Russian, who's from Australia. She seemed to have a Russian accent.
Which I will say, in Australia, met a lot of like Eastern European
There's
people.
a lot of Russians. Like
Yeah.
a lot of the Dancing with the Stars are Australian Russians. So anyway, yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Oh, and Eliza.
Eliza.
So you have 3 attractive women come in. 4 attractive women come in who are
No,
There's definitely
There was
5.
there was
There are
5.
definitely 5.
Yeah.
Who are we missing?
Australia. Kate.
Oh,
Oh,
Kate.
Kate. Yeah,
Kate.
yeah.
Oh,
Because Kate didn't want to step on toes, and then she was
And
kind of like,
then-
screw it.
Literally stepped on all of them.
And then like straddled.
And then like literally straddled the
Hello,
hot tub.
Jacob.
she like grinded on some toes.
she
Yeah.
gave a lap dance on toes.
And then at the end of it, she goes, "Thank you so much for chatting with me." I was like, "Sweetheart, that was not a chat."
We were dying. I literally have it written down. Doesn't want to step on toes, straddles in the hot tub, like immediately after saying that. I was very shocked.
Good for her.
Yep.
I also think it really proves my theory that they do so much hot tub action on the show. So that way.
But that was on a
when-
daybed. She straddled him on a daybed.
No, but
No, it was in
then
the pool.
later
That was
in
later.
the pool.
Oh.
And you
Yeah.
said, I need a minute before I can leave.
I thought the hot tub was first.
The hot tub was first. And then the next day.
hot yoga pose. They were like that tantric.
But Rodney was very excited for this new venture of
oh
the
my god,
women
the
leaving.
whole time, and they walked in, Rodney like.
It was like when you're in middle school and you're taking a test, like you can't laugh or talk, and like you and your or at like a sleepover and you have to be quiet and you just laugh, like you can't stop laughing. That was Rodney. He could not look. He
couldn't hold his smile in. He was
his
looking
excitement back was breaking through him.
He's just looking at Eliza and he's like so giddy. And he's just sitting there like so upset. It was so hard to
it's
watch.
like he might as well offer to have packed Lace's suitcase
Yeah.
for her.
Literally.
yeah.
It's like, so we need help or
Like, all right, Lace, you ready to go?
yeah, ready to go?
Yep.
Gotta get out of here.
Who else was pretty excited?
Well, Logan was getting the interesting kind of like chat with the bros, and they were kind of like hyping him up. They're like, "You have every right to have fun." She was just making out with James a day ago.
But also really weird from Logan when they were all like meeting each other, and Kate was like, oh, like, when did you come down? Like the first day? He's like, yeah, the first day. The water's warm if you want to
Yeah, that was-
like, go check
yeah.
it out.
Logan was just like, yeah, I don't really know these girls. But then he kind of awkwardly was like, beer's cold, water's warm, or whatever.
like, let's get in and make out.
I in fairness to him, I feel like, I don't know, you just say awkward things sometimes. That just happen to play it.
And Victoria, hilarious. She's like, I picked the wrong day to not wear makeup.
Oh my God.
Like a wet dog.
So relatable because Johnny asked her, why do you look different today? And she's like, I wasn't wearing makeup.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
But props to Victoria, a woman who not so long ago on Peter Weber season is famously known for canceling her hometown. She literally got so worked up on her season that she just was like, no, I don't care if my family's inside. I'm not fucking going. And she just canceled her hometown. And now she's the voice of fucking reason in Paradise. She was the most chill of all the women when they first found out that they were leaving. And like, honestly, it seemed like she just wanted the AC. She clearly was not worried about Johnny.
Victoria is stable. And
Which
they're
is
other
shocking.
women.
It's shocking to watch. Like, I'm literally watching Jill and Genevieve. They're having meltdowns. I'm like, they need a medic. Like, they're actually so unwell. And seeing Victoria just like, it's all good.
And
Like,
Victoria's also
don't
just
worry.
like the
I'm like,
best friend because she's like to Brittany. She's like, Brittany's crying. She's like, Brittany, he literally just told me that he likes you. He loves you. Like, don't worry, babe. Like, he just told me he's going to propose. Do not worry.
no, the worst part was that Jill was like, I'm not packing these crystals, like whatever, I'm gonna leave them here, whatever. And she's like, no, bring them. And then it cuts to it later.
She's holding the crystals.
She's holding the crystals on the bed.
Well,
She's
Jacob's just like
Making out
in the hot tub. I'm like, this poor girl. And Victoria's like, bring the crystals, babe. Bring them.
She cursed her for sure.
Yeah, those crystals need to be left in paradise.
Obviously, you don't really see much of Johnny or Brandon just because they are kings in this episode. But I do love how Johnny was like, it's nice, you know, like no eyes are on us. It's like, babe, you're on a national television show. Like there are millions of eyes on you.
Yep.
Do not worry about that.
Yeah, he is they often forget that they are being recorded. Yeah, he was. Yeah, there's like, yeah, there's no one's there to watch us. Yeah, he was. He forgot about that. Anyways, did we love the panic? Like, what else did we think about that?
I just feel like the boys clearly had so much more fun with it than the girls. The girls weren't even talking to the guys.
Yeah, I didn't really get
And
that.
even the guys noticed that. They were like, well, how did we end up with the women that are like all in stable relationships?
I think Genevieve made a point to say, like, the more time that they spent with these men, the more they missed their men. So they were like, okay, like, we're not interested in even trying this. Like, I think Rick looked at Victoria and was like, do you want to get on my shoulders and play chicken? And she was like, absolutely not.
I was so cringy.
Yeah, it's just awkward. And like, I feel like, I mean, I've watched other shows where like they do that, where they'll separate them. Always, the girls never flip. Like the girls will they always stay. I don't know what it is. I don't know why.
Women are loyal.
But the girls,
Men are not.
they just won't, they feel attached so early on. Like you're committed to that route. Whereas guys are just like, oh, like we're on holiday, like whatever. And so it's just, it always ends up with the girls staying loyal. And then they come back and they're
besides
like,
Brittany and Shanae.
well, yeah.
Yeah, besides Brittany and Shanae. Yeah, Brittany, she was like going hard. Yeah, she was first crying about her connection with Andrew. And then
The second she saw Tyler.
Then she
Yeah,
saw
Tyler is Mr. Popular. Tyler is making the rounds.
I feel like she'll change her mind.
he was making moves, and yeah, that conversation was pretty aggressive, only for him to go on a date with Shanae, and then Brittany was clearly upset. So what do we think of Brittany doing that?
I feel like she's testing the waters. Like, I feel like what happens is like you switch, right? So they'll all go be with different people. Then when they come back together, they're going to see the person that they were just with and go right back to them. Like, they're going to just want that connection again. So that's the sticky part. It's just like now, then all of them are going to be back together. And then it's going to be like, what do you do?
So like when it comes to the Jacobs, it was Jacob, Shanae, Brittany, Logan. How do we feel kind of all fair in love and paradise type of thing? Or do we think someone should have had more loyalty? Like, should Jacob had more loyalty to Jill more than, say, Brittany and Andrew? Or is it, are none of these relationships really all that established that we can criticize anyone for taking advantage of the situation presented to them?
I don't think they're very, I just think that they all contradicted themselves because the women are crying to leave, and then Logan is like, I'm scared to hold Sarah's hand. And then they're making out in the ocean. It's like, okay, you're not scared.
Yeah.
I think the guys are so worried about coming across as fuckboys. Like, I think Andrew has follow through. Might not be a closer, but he has follow through. And I think Andrew, like with Jasenia, was just like, nah, like Brittany, I'm staking my claim. I don't know what she's doing, but I am not going to be making out with another woman and having Brittany come back wanting to date me. Like, I feel like that was top of Andrew's mind more than anything else. Like, I don't know if he's really into Brittany or Jasenia.
But Andrew is a king for that.
Sure, yeah.
He is.
Well, what if it's not necessarily genuine?
So you're saying like
think
if
it
he
is.
wasn't into Jasenia that much?
I think I don't know who he likes the most. I just think I know he was more like, fuck it, I'm not
going to risk it by being open to this new connection because I don't want to look disloyal.
Yes, I don't want to look like a fuckboy. I don't want to look like I think Andrew was smart enough to know that like this is a trap.
But
I'm being set up for a trap and I'm not fucking taking the bait. Where Logan and Like Jacob seems fairly gullible.
The only person who could have really shocked me would have been Brandon. Like, that's it. Like, I don't know. Like,
oh my God, imagine.
He would have been the only person that I would have been like, I literally can't watch anymore. Like, I'm done. But as much as I don't feel like Jacob not needed to stay as loyal to Jill, because like obviously they had a good relationship. But I don't know if I like expected that from him. And also like if I were Jill and I was butt naked on TV and like howled under a full moon with someone, I would be also holding my crystals crying. Like I would be so upset at the fact that I just did that. And
like
then
we howled at the moon naked on live television and you're gonna kiss another bitch.
And then like her bed was not even cold and he was like out. Yeah. So like that's a little tough to watch. But did he need to stay loyal? I don't know. Could he have waited some time?
I feel like Jill has a little bit of a right to be mad at Jacob.
Yeah, very much a right. I mean, the whole holding hands butt naked back to back. I mean, that would have just by far ruined my life.
Jacob's like that kind of like, I don't know, like he's a fuckboy because it's like he seems like he doesn't have really a mean bone in his body. Like Jacob, he's just kind of like, hey man, Tarzan, like whatever, man, like whatever, I'm naked, I'll do push-ups. But he almost pulls it off being a fuckboy because that's ultimately like, he's just being a fuckboy, right? But he almost pulls it off how it's just like, hey, you know, like whatever, I'm goofy.
Yeah.
And let's just sit on each other's laps and get naked and straddle each other. But it's weird. He almost pulls it off. Do you think Jacob knows what he's doing?
To a degree, but like I said, like I feel like, I don't know, because if Jill was there, obviously she's like very like on the person she's with. Like she is watching them. Like she's very like into like going after them, making sure they're not speaking to anyone. So I don't obviously think he would be doing that if she was there. Now that she's gone, he's free to do whatever. But like when she comes back, will he regret that? I don't know.
What we can discuss is every single time they show any male working out in the show, they are always doing the most insane workouts. It is never
I've never
squat.
seen a push-up where they're suddenly flying through the air.
And like they all
and
did
multiple
that.
people were doing that.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
I don't even know how that works.
Like where are the squats and the lunges
Nope.
and like like we're doing flying push-ups?
It was so weird because it showed one clip of someone at like where the girls were, like one of the guys doing it
Tolu
over
was
there.
doing it, the jumping ones.
Yes. And then it went back to the beach and someone was doing it on the beach. I'm like, well, why are we doing this? What's going on?
They all got in a group chat.
They haven't even communicated.
They don't even know.
It's two separate men groups doing flying push-ups.
It was insane. It was insane to watch.
I do think Aaron was someone who pleasantly surprised, or not necessarily surprised me, but I think he handled the situation really well because he's someone who, by the Logan logic of like, I just watched Shanae make out with James, so therefore I'm allowed to explore this connection. Like Genevieve did start out with Justin, and there was a period of time where she was entertaining both of them, and Aaron really like held the line and stayed very loyal, which I think showed me to like what a good partner he is for Genevieve, because I think Genevieve really needs someone who is like unwavering, who's very careful in that way.
Also, he called her Jen, which I thought was really cute.
Do you think that speaks to his feelings towards Genevieve, or does he just know that Genevieve, like once he staked his claim, or once Genevieve staked his claim, that there was no...
He's genuinely into her. I've been impressed by Aaron this season.
Yeah.
I'll say.
Okay. No, yeah. He's doing fine.
Yeah.
I just don't really I don't see a connection between the two of them, other than they're both like, you're hot.
Was that Aaron?
I just like what do you think they talk about?
Great question.
I would love to be a fly on the wall.
I feel like they're adversaries. Like I feel like they only like they really need to unite over like other people.
Yeah.
Well, Genevieve, by her own admission, kind of overthinks. She's in her head a lot about stuff. And maybe they're a match because Aaron is generally a man of few words. At least he has been this season. It's been a lot of like, yo, and like, great. So maybe he just says just a little enough that he won't say something wrong for Genevieve to like overthink what he says. It just keeps it simple. I like you. How you doing? Let's make out. And maybe they're a match made. I don't
He's
know.
very touchy, which that is what she did not get from Justin. So she gets it from Aaron.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, wanting to feel special talked about, which I get it, but no one's ever made me feel special like this. No one's ever made me, it's never like, no one's ever made, like, they don't talk about feeling loved. They talk about feeling special all the time.
Or wanted.
And
Or
chosen.
wanted. And chosen, which is like, obviously the theme of Paradise. I kind of hate that for them, but yeah, they have no problem saying it like loud and proud.
I wonder if part of it, though, is just like acknowledging that it's there. Because even though I like listening to you talk hours and hours every week, like have decided it's not necessarily right to want to feel chosen, that doesn't mean it's easy to like undo the years and years of like conditioning.
Yeah. Well, it's like even in a relationship, you want to feel validated. And even in a relationship, you do want to feel special and you want to feel chosen. But I don't think that should be the only thing you can say to articulate what you're excited about. And it seems like that is what people say the most early on are those kind of oversimplified things that when you actually think about it, you're just like, well, what is that?
The real question is like what insecurity comes out or gets activated when you don't feel chosen. Like that's the real piece of data. I think that's helpful for you. Is it like an abandonment thing or whatever else?
Yeah, and the point at which you haven't felt chosen yet, and you're kind of getting to know them, I think it just speaks to like the focus on being chosen or feeling special or validated before you even like have taken the time to learn something about them or decide whether you like them or decide whether like you're compatible or anything. It's just more like, and like Shanae, like kind of genuinely, like it was really quite endearing when she's just like, I've never felt so desired by people. Like that was a really genuine moment for her. But like at the same time, it's just, I don't think she's really getting to know anyone. She's not really forming any connections. It's just kind of, it was relatable in the sense where like when people go out there, it's just like, yeah, it's nice to feel wanted. And you go out there, you're on the apps and you're just like, I went on 5 dates and I know that I could go on 5 more. Like they would all say yes to a second date, but like that doesn't answer whether you actually felt connected to any one of them other than the fact that you could go on 5 second dates. And I just feel like that's kind of Shanae's focus right now, which I guess is fine if she's having fun, but it doesn't seem like she's really making any like real connections with anyone.
Yeah. Are there any couples that you can't stand or aren't rooting for? Because I feel like there's so many ones that are like obviously so wonderful and healthy. Are there any ones where you're like little red flags?
There's none that I can't stand. There's some that I'm like, I don't know if I like see that. Like, I mean, I know that Shanae and Tyler just made this connection. I don't know.
Take him to the boom boom room.
Yeah, like she was so ready. Like that whole scene when Joe was like cock blocking her. I was like, what is going on right now? Like this took a whole, turn. But I don't know if I see them like further down the line. I really like Brendan and Serene.
What about Jill and Justin? I know Justin's gone, but like they both seem to like have mild meltdowns when they don't get what they want.
No,
You're shaking your
Wouldn't that
head.
be a disaster?
I'm gonna
to
give
have
it a
both
thumbs
of them
down.
melting down?
Yeah, I'm gonna give 2 thumbs down to that as well.
Yeah.
It could be so crazy, it just might work.
Well, because like
I
that's
really,
what we said about Jacob and Jill, though.
yeah, I really can't. I just can't watch Aaron and Genevieve. I really struggle with them, and I just think it's because Aaron last Paradise really cringed me out, and he can't recover from that for me.
That's right, you do. You hate him.
Big ick.
It's just big icks all around. I just can't do it.
You're in the minority there. Aaron's a big fan favorite.
That's what A lot
of people like the Aaron.
I know. Sue me.
Yeah. Kate doesn't want to step on Jill's toes.
But she did.
But baby did more.
She loved it.
Straddled them.
She didn't step. She trampled.
She straddled his toes. Period.
I really respect Lace for when she's having the conversation with the men and they're obviously being like, no, yeah, we're boys, we're bros. Like we can't, like boy code, guy code, we can't give you any info on Rodney, but how are my girls doing? And she's like, no, like I'm not gonna tell you anything about yours.
Yeah,
like, what do you mean?
I like that she stood her ground there.
I do too. And if they're like, how are the girls? Like, do they miss us? And she's like, well, do y'all miss them? And they're like, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I like how she handled that situation.
She really got fucked.
Yeah.
If one person was going to go back and like just like disrupt the whole thing, my money would have been on Jill, not Lace.
Same.
100%. But
Yeah, but you know why it happened the way it did is because Rodney was on a
on a
date
date.
with Eliza, and
yeah.
it's like,
So did
hey,
producers just go up to her and say, hey, do you want to go back to the beach?
probably, yeah. Would you like to see him? Would you like to check in? I'm sure it was a little bit of like, hey, I'm freaking out. All I can think about is Rodney. And they're just like, well, we'll go let you see him, But like what was really endearing about that is that you could tell like Lace knew she was preparing herself for the setup. She wasn't completely, she kind of knew when they were like, she's like, yeah, I'm nervous. I give her a lot of credit because she's no rookie to this. She knew there was a potential for this to happen, but she still said, fuck it. She wanted an answer. We always talk about people like avoiding truths and not facing rejection. And to Lace's credit, she was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to shoot my shot. I'm going to find out, but at least I'll know.
We'll obviously see how it plays out when they have their conversation, but I do think that she handled herself very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if she
Continues that.
continues
Don't know,
that.
but-
I mean, it's
Yeah.
such a crazy situation to like be put in. Like I would 100%, I would freak out. I don't know how well I would handle
you know-
myself if I like it's only been one day. You're gonna come back and he's coming down from a day. I don't know. It's just really difficult.
Holding hands.
And the way like you can tell he feels about Eliza. Like you could
Rodney's
just
ready
see
to propose.
it. No, it's so obvious. So it's like, and that's right in front of her. That's hard to deal with. I feel bad for her.
And the environment down there is always kind of high schoolish, and like everyone's kind of like that kind of like, and like Lace is gonna feel that type of like energy of everyone watching.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I'm so
Yeah, like the
embarrassed
senior
for-
girl's about to get
It's
broken
like,
up with by your
oh,
sophomore
God.
boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that kind of energy.
It's also so tough that it's Eliza because she's just like one of the most likable people I've ever seen on television. Like I think she just has this like radiance, and I think she has this like positivity about her. And I think it's so difficult to not have like flaws that you can kind of, while you're in your like insecure rejection phase, like be like, well, and she's blah blah blah. I was like, what do you say about Eliza? Like nothing.
They're
Yeah.
also really cute on their date where she's like, you're cute. And he's like, you're cute. And then he goes,
We cute.
No, they're very cute. Yeah, it's and yeah, Eliza, like I'm assuming Ethan, it would be a hard person to have someone not pick you over. If I said that right. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm assuming it was not easy for Lace to see him walking down, looking in love with her.
I have a question, which is something that was kind of on my mind in the Jill and Jacob rose ceremony in the first place was like, okay, this feels like one of the couples where it's the way it shook out this week, but it doesn't seem, if I were Jill, I would feel like giving my rose to Jacob is a little bit of a risk because he could jump ship, like as opposed to this like really established connection. To what extent do you think you take when you're deciding who to give your rose to? Do you do kind of like someone who you feel like is more likely to be loyal, or do you go for the more like exciting one who you think could potentially drop you down the line? Like safety school,
I mean, at
or like
the end of the
reach?
day, like you are getting engaged at the end of the show. So I feel like to go with the one that you think has the characteristics like loyalty that you would want in a fiance and a partner for the rest of your life is probably the smarter way to go, in my opinion.
But I don't think it's the way that they go.
No, it's definitely not.
Like
Most of
choosing
them.
Jacob, I think is a little risky.
Yeah.
But
Or Logan over James when Shanae chose Logan over James.
yeah. I thought that was a little, I don't know.
Like
Well,
I think she
Sinead's
went
the
with
fuckboy
excitement.
in this episode.
But before all that happened, like during the rose ceremony when she even said like James would be a great husband and great father, but Logan is like fun and exciting. Like I think she went with the more exciting one
Yeah.
versus
like logically looking further down the road.
right.
James also not a closer.
Yeah. Oh, I can't. I struggle with watching people kiss on television, and I just can't watch James kiss that along with Aaron. I really.
My question is, they did their intro package together. What's it going to look like next week now that James is gone?
What was their intro package?
They're piggybacked.
Oh yeah.
Or they're
That's
just going to like
awkward.
edit him out?
Yeah, they'll
Like
do,
blur his face.
Where does he go?
they'll do
The
something
artist
clever.
formerly known as James.
Yeah, they'll do.
They'll black and white him.
I loved how the show with Jacob was, what was his Chiron? Were they losing, like melting down or something like that? Where
Oh, I
someone
don't
said,
remember.
you know, but
I
like,
know what you're talking about, but I don't remember what it was.
yeah, someone was like, he's
Battling
Yes.
demons.
Did they put Jill's is in the trenches? In the trenches with her crystals.
With her crystals.
Because Jill is in the trenches.
Jill needs a medic.
For sure. Jill needs a medic. Jill is in the trenches and needs a medic.
Yep.
I also love that like Brandon and Johnny are just like nowhere to be seen. You know,
Yep.
like they're just
Loyal
like
kings we love. we
floating in
stand.
the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing their thing. I like that.
they were probably just told they're off limits.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But we're gonna praise them because we don't know that for sure.
you never know.
totally. Well, Brandon for sure.
Johnny for
Aaron's-
sure.
in the episode after James was sent home, Aaron is reading a book that says Big Facts by Aaron Clancy.
They got him a whole new scene.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Interesting.
I had to reshoot it.
Interesting.
Tino really likes Tyler, he said.
Aww.
Tino would let Tyler date his little sister.
Wait, that says a lot about
That,
somebody.
Yeah.
that really does.
Oh, but if you did have a little
No,
sister.
he doesn't have a little sister.
So it means a little less.
It means less.
But if you had a sister, then you would be like, this, it'd be more right.
But he does.
But it's imaginary.
That's Tino would let his imaginary sister date Tyler.
You know,
absolutely. I'm gonna take it as a green flag.
A green flag.
I'm gonna note that.
What do we think of Tyler?
He's definitely. You've said to me that they love a tall man.
He's the
on
exception to the
Bachelor.
rule.
He is a short
so
king.
cute, and he's buff and ripped and very handsome. But just when he stands next to the Australian Olympic man,
man bun.
Thor's body double. And then it says, no,
literally.
he really is underneath it.
Yeah, they were like, this is not a funny Chiron.
Yeah, it says Thor's body double, and then it went underneath, and it said, "No, he really is."
No, you're kidding.
Oh, really? He's Thor's body double.
Yes.
I'll pull up the IMDb, but
That would
that's what it
be
said.
in my Instagram bio. That would be everywhere.
Okay. And he can't get a fucking glance.
Yeah, and he's got an Australian accent.
Yeah, what's wrong? What's
And
I
they're
just think they're in love.
Here's
The
what I
girls are
don't
in love.
understand. Why can't the guys? I understand the hey, do you want to get on my shoulders? That's not the
lot.
move. That's a lot.
Especially with Rick.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's like he's gonna pass out if you get on his shoulders. He always looks like he just gave blood.
Rick is always like him and Logan don't blink. I don't think I've ever seen Logan blink a day in his life.
Logan for sure doesn't
Tino,
blink.
Yep.
But why
Does
could
not blink.
why
Crazy
could any of
eyes.
those very attractive men just like go and talk? Why why don't they just don't try to
Okay.
go over and date them? Just
But-
go and like talk.
But I think the group of women, we've got Victoria Fuller, who
She can be a threat,
intimidating,
yeah.
and very intimidating. Brittany, and like all
I
of
can
these
picture
women.
Victoria being like, "What are you doing
Half
over
of
here?"
them are literally so puffy. They've been crying all day and night. They're like, "Hi, how are you?" Like, I don't know. I
like,
just
still
I
tears
think-
running down their eyes.
yeah, I think these guys are reading the room. The other guys weren't, and I think these guys are.
and
they're
just
like,
we're gonna stay.
they're like, we don't know what to do.
We're
Like
not
they're
wanted here. We're just
rejecting
gonna-
us.
yeah.
yeah,
I still think they could have tried to have. I think Logan would have tried to have a conversation.
yeah.
But I do think after Rick said that, and Victoria was like, absolutely not, and gets up and leaves, he was probably like, well, I'm done here.
Yeah, the shoulders things was weird.
Really weird. Yeah, really weird.
You lead with that. You want to get on my
Like
shoulders?
if it was Tyler, it might be a little different of a story. Like, oh,
So
okay,
you want to
Tyler.
put your crotch right on the back of my head.
chicken fight.
I know we haven't spoken all day.
But if you want to get on my shoulders, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Maybe if it was Thor's body double.
Yeah.
He could put both of them up there. He's ready.
Exactly.
They can fight
Ready.
each other on him.
I think it's also-
Exactly.
it makes no sense why Thor's body double is not getting any attention.
Amen.
just
Justice for
doesn't.
Thor.
Is he a closer? Probably not.
I don't know
It's hard
how
to-
he
he doesn't
it-
know
it-
anyone.
He's not an opener or a closer.
It didn't seem
He doesn't
like
have bros. He's a loner.
I think
That's
it's such
true.
a high
I
school
think he's a
environment.
closer, but not an opener.
Period.
True.
Interesting.
I think it's the high school environment of it, where if you're an outsider, you're just like, because also the guy from Rachel's season,
Oh,
good
yeah,
looking
he's
guy,
cute.
yeah, very attractive.
And Jill was even excited about him, but
Like
then
he's gorgeous. He can't get a look.
they also showed a clip of him like sitting in a lawn chair, and I think it was Genevieve, and she's like on her stomach snoring,
Mhm.
like sleeping.
Yeah.
Like I just don't think these women are interested in playing this game.
It's
They just want to be
unfortunate.
back on the beach.
Yeah.
But they all look so stunning because they're in AC with showers and
That's a large suite too.
Mhm.
massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they clearly they must have when they had their girl chat, they clearly were told to get ready before the
Oh
men.
yeah, they look like they were on a typical cocktail party for The Bachelor.
And when the guy showed up, because I'm curious what was said between them that made him go put something on.
Yeah.
Well, that felt like a really big thing about when the new girls were brought in. Is like, I feel like we got an interview moment from every woman being like, "Are you kidding me? Like, they're made up and beautiful, and I feel haggard."
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, yeah, for sure, I can totally tell why someone might think that, but I was like, I don't think there's a huge
Yeah, I
difference.
didn't see much of a difference.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's feeling. I
It's
think
feeling,
it's
yeah.
feeling the sweat on
Also,
your...
the sweat, they claim in there's a freshness they probably had to
Mhm.
I
sitting
think
on the
Victoria
beach.
was like, they came in with their blowouts and they're
Yeah.
full glam with not a drop of sweat
Yeah.
or
And
a
you
bug
kinda,
bite.
You kind of give up after a few days on Paradise. You
Yeah.
choose to embrace it because you've been there with a bunch of people in the same environment, and so yeah, it I think the stress landed the way they wanted it to land. I hope they keep doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you know Temptation Island?
yeah, I had a feel of that.
Yeah, this is like Temptation Island, but without the video sneak previews of what the other person is doing.
Yeah, I loved it. I hope they keep.
It's a
doing
really
stuff
good
like that.
twist. Is there, okay, if you could also add one other like reality dating show element to Bachelor world, like which one would you pick?
That's such a you question, Keaton. You
I
watch
know.
so
I watch
many.
so much. Well, actually, what I was saying was they're like on Love Island. They do like where they split them up, and they put them in different houses, but they do this thing where they send a postcard. So they'll send a postcard to the girl's house and it'll be images of their guys. But like some of them will be like on dates. Some of them will just be like random hugging. And it like makes the women absolutely lose their mind. But like they can't go back for 5 more days. So they're just like sitting there with this postcard and they're like,
So
who is that?
they get like
what's
little
going on?
snapshots.
Could you imagine
They get
if
snapshots.
It's like Be Real.
Yep.
Yeah. Could you imagine if Jill got a postcard of Jacob making out and with Kate straddled on him? We got Logan making out in the beach.
Yeah, it was a beautiful
We got,
shot too.
Like, could you
Yeah.
just imagine them receiving that postcard?
Yeah, they do that, which
Hell,
would be absolutely
Jill.
insane. And a worse version of that is they have movie night. And they basically, when everyone comes back together, there's different titles like on a huge screen and they pick which. So like the title would be like Shanae Goes Wild or like something like that. And you'd be like, oh, what is that about? And they all vote on the title. They click it and it's a clip of like what they were doing when your person was gone. They do that on Love Island. So like you can choose and you can see. So it's even
Dirty.
worse because it's like you're watching the show while you're there and you're like, this is rough.
That's dirty.
That would be rough.
We should do that.
It makes them like absolutely go insane. It's wild. It's good TV, but like, yeah.
Lace and Rodney should have never happened.
The weird thing though is that it happened with no resistance.
Well, Jill was gunning for Rodney. He went for a drink and Lace
And
Lace
then it was
like,
all,
I wanna
and then
take
from
you.
there.
Rodney's like, okay.
Lace was like, a shot? Let's go.
Yeah, they helped out Rodney because what do we think of? He technically didn't do anything wrong, right? Like, have they even had a date, Lace and Rodney?
I just feel so bad because Lace said he didn't kiss me goodbye when we left. And I know that's one of those things where it's like, of course, you're going to cling to it because it's one of the few pieces of information you have when you're suddenly in the dark. But I just think that's so difficult being like, oh no, I was maybe picking up on a vibe. Like I was right. Like whenever you were right, your anxiety was right. It's like so dangerous because then anytime in the future, like, well, I was
That's all
right
you
about that
think
one
about.
thing.
Yeah.
Like, so we're counting kisses? No. So we're counting. No, I agree.
Justin.
So we're counting.
So we're counting kisses now.
She was like, how fucking dare you? She was livid after
I
that.
was like, not the counting the kisses, but like as you should. Like
As you should.
like it makes sense.
Count your kisses.
Count your kisses, y'all.
Ladies.
Count your
Ladies.
This
Ladies.
is a PSA.
Public
Count your
service
kisses.
Count your kisses.
And if you don't, you never know. He could be gone.
I feel like The Bachelor is single-handedly like carrying the tantric yoga industry. Like I'm sure
absolutely.
there is a niche group of people who are
truly.
lovers long before The Bachelor, will be long after, but like in terms of mainstream
Never heard the word
presence,
tantric yoga.
the only
until
time I
this
hear tantric
show.
yoga
Is on The Bachelor.
is on The
Yeah.
Bachelor.
The
They
hot
love
tub.
Would
that
you,
date.
maybe this is a weird question, would you do that on a date? Like, would that be a fun date for you?
Never.
No.
If like a guy on
Like, he
Hinge
has
was like,
to
you know what
ever.
we're gonna do
No,
tonight?
no, with like your boyfriend of like a few, like
not a
over a
stranger.
year.
I've been
Over a
dating
year?
Brandon for 4 years, and if he asked me today to go to tantric yoga with him, I would literally be like, "Are you insane?"
Absolutely.
I just,
Babe,
but
would you
also
do
that's
it?
like a personality thing. I don't know.
probably.
I have
Like
no
it
interest,
sounds
but-
fun. It sounds fun, but I feel like once we got there and they're like, okay, now lift her on top of your head, I'd be like, ah! We have to go. Like, absolutely not.
You know what? I take it back. If he was really like passionate about, like, if it was something that he was like, I really want to try this out, he's literally winking at me from the other room. But if he was like, I really want to try this out, like, babe, we have to do this, then yeah. But like,
I also
Honestly,
feel like it'd
I-
be different if you had like an instructor come to the home as opposed to like a Groupon class situation where you'd have to be
Yeah,
there
there's like a
with
random
others.
couple next to you.
Oh my God.
so rough.
Honestly, I just need like Colleen Hoover to write about it in a book and maybe I'll think it's hot.
And then I'll think it's great.
Yeah.
What is the
Love it.
cringiest bachelor dates? Common bachelor dates that would be cringy in real life.
I feel like they're
Naked.
all
Bungee jumping
pretty-
naked.
Howling at the moon.
I mean-
I mean, okay,
Dude.
here's my thing.
Are there any not cringy ones? If it's as long as
Dinner.
it's dinner
Like
and the
riding of the horse is fine. Like that's cute. That's not cringe.
Shop-
The ATVs that Victoria did.
ATVs, yeah.
Okay, fun.
That was
Love
cute.
That.
This isn't Paradise. This is like Bachelor, Bachelorette. But the shopping date, it's both unbelievably cringe in real life, but then also unbelievably like
awesome on the
Iconic.
bachelor.
Awesome.
All this
Yeah.
Iconic.
But it's clear it's cringe in real life.
I mean, not for me. Baby, if you want to do that, I'd be absolutely down.
I feel like it's cringe. The reason I said that was because I was like, it feels very cringe
No,
to
keep
be like,
talking.
I would
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not
We're
cringe.
settling this down.
There's a fight. Not cringe. No.
No, who was it? Clayton that got Susie like the Louboutins? Wasn't that Clayton's
Yeah.
season?
Louboutins
Yeah.
go with
That's
that
happened
dress.
a few times, but yeah.
Like,
Susie-
Rachel Kirkconnell got Louboutins.
Rachel Kakana and Susie both got the
And
big
they never do
shopping.
it for the men. What about the men going
Wait,
to Brooks
Nick.
Brothers?
Yeah.
Why don't I
My
get a shopping
gunkles
spree?
Didn't you
love
get to
a good
do it?
Louboutin.
Corinne talked. Yeah, Corinne kind of took me on one.
Yeah, but that was her own budget.
The girl who's
I
never
know.
seen
From
your
the
season
show.
knows that Nick has been on a date
Yeah,
like that.
I have. But yeah, it was different. It wasn't. I felt uncomfortable. Her taking me shopping.
You gave some of it back, no?
Yeah,
You just also like don't love gifts.
true.
So
Yeah.
I feel like all in all, it was just a nightmare for you.
But if I knew the show was taking me on a shopping spree, I would have loved it.
Right.
Yeah, but not someone spending money on me. Made me uncomfortable.
It's awkward.
Keen, did we cover all your notes?
Yes, except for I need to. I have a bone to pick with you.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
I
open up
told.
your ears.
Yep. I told Natalie, I texted her and I said, it's interesting that Nick went on his podcast, talked about how much he loved Harry Styles.
Mhm.
He went to, a festival and,
Yep.
Harry changed your life.
Changed your life.
Changed your life, right?
Mhm.
We all heard that.
Yep.
And you will not pick a Harry Styles date to get tickets. And Natalie
To
said,
go to his concert.
What?
You won't pick a date.
I pick a date.
You won't pick a date.
it's up to you.
Why is it up to me?
I sent you the screenshot that Keaton
She
sent
said
me,
t-
and I
she said,
pick a date.
Take it
I
up
got
with
a
Nick.
no response.
I
Let's
said-
pick a date right now.
He's not interested in going.
I think he's
Okay.
a fake fan.
I think
Oh,
he's a
wow.
big fan too.
I think that he proclaimed his love for Harry.
Right.
Got everyone to think he loves
he told everyone the story of him running.
Yeah, he's
We all know
like
that
he's
story,
like
yeah.
I know him personally.
Tino, did you get that story? Nope, you didn't. Interesting.
Remind me
Don't tell
to
it
never
don't
get
tell it
on
to
your
you at
guys'
dinner.
bad
Don't
sides.
tell it to
That
you
was
at dinner.
terrifying. I never want to be on the receiving end of that.
Of what?
What just happened?
Cornering
One of them
him.
talking and the other one going, well, not.
I told Natalie, I'm like, well, I would really like to buy Harry Styles tickets. Like, I'm,
All right,
I
so-
don't want to wait. And she's like, well, you need to ask Nick about it. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And she's like, ask him on the pod. Like, okay,
I think we should go on Friday, October 28th.
That's in 12 days.
I'll be here.
Destiny says
Oh,
no.
I think we should go on a Friday. Or there's November 4th as well. We can do November 4th.
We can't.
Oh, Keen's out of
Why?
town.
I'll be out of town.
Is
November 4th and November 11th. But I'll be here on the 28th.
he's got like a Monday. We can go on a Monday night.
Why a Monday? Why don't we just do a Friday?
He's here for like 15 days. So.
Why wouldn't we rather do a weekend?
Destiny's got something to say back there.
Oh, so it's not just my call.
Well,
It's definitely-
I asked Natalie and she said,
So
I'm
it's
going to
not
have to
just
ask
pick a,
Nick.
it's not pick a date, Nick.
Y'all are watching a live fight.
I'm not, because this feels a lot like I'll eat anywhere, and
Will
then
you?
I start making recommendations, and it's like
And it's like, no.
anywhere but
no,
that.
no, no,
Nah,
no.
I don't want
I
that.
don't want that.
Brandon, you know something about this?
He doesn't even know he's going, but
Yeah.
he's going. He doesn't even know what's happening.
All right.
He also doesn't know what he's going to be for Halloween.
Oh,
What are you being for
that's,
Halloween?
Yeah, a fun note to go out on.
Well, now that I have red hair,
I feel like I'm
Ooh.
going as Roger Rabbit.
I would love to be Jessica Rabbit or Kim Possible, and it can be a ferret. Or
Roger Rabbit.
Or I'll be Ariel, and he can be the lobster or the
Or
crab.
Well,
Prince
why
Eric.
wouldn't he be Prince Eric?
Oh,
Throw
my
him a
God.
bone
I
here.
don't think I could
Babe.
pull off.
I told him Prince
He
Eric,
can be a
was like,
ferret,
What about
or
Ursula?
he can be a lobster. He
Yeah.
can be a ferret or
He
a
would
lobster.
be a good Ursula.
Nick.
Here, look.
Steal her voice.
It could be Roger Rabbit.
I think definitely like a cute, red hair moment. It'd be so cute. I'm making Brandon be the Duke from Bridgerton,
Oh,
and I'm
that's a good
being
one.
Daphne. That's
Oh,
right.
yeah,
Oh,
that,
yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah,
can
that's
see that.
definitely-
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Super cute.
Amanda, do you want to tell him what ours is?
Oh yeah. I've had this costume. This is finally the day. It's gonna
It's a
come
good
out.
idea.
Like slutty Gollum.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
from Lord of the
Hot.
Rings. And then
I've never seen Lord of the Rings, so I asked if I could go as the ring.
You're
Wait,
going
that's
as a
she's
she's
ring.
gonna be my
funny.
precious. I don't actually. I'm not even a Lord of the Rings fan. I just thought it was
I've
like a
never
funny.
seen it. It was
I
the
feel
only
like
thing I
Gollum
could
is
go
the
with.
ickiest
Mhm.
Brandon,
thing in the
when
world.
I just realized now that you both have red hair and you're dating a Nick.
Oh my God. Babe.
Parallel.
Babe.
There's something.
Wait a minute. Loving this.
Brandon one time told me I remind him of Gollum, and I had never seen Lord of the Rings, and then I watched it a couple years later, and I
Y'all are
realized that
still
wasn't
fighting
nice.
about
Yeah,
Why did he say that?
because he thinks he's funny.
Okay.
It's the same thing that you told me about my forehead the other day, honey.
No, that's not.
We
That's not.
are getting into it.
Natalie says that she thinks she has a large forehead, to which I replied, "It's complete. It's smaller than most of your friends." And then And then
Wait
the
a
other,
minute. Nick, wait a minute. Hold on. And I am regretting a slick bun today. I will say that right now.
No. And then Natalie jokingly said the other day, she's like, we should fight more.
No, I said I think it's funny to like funny roast your partner, like to not be so sensitive and to not be
Keaton, hand this
you
to
know.
Natalie. She'll change her mind.
And so I was like, oh, honey.
I used to look like Jimmy Neutron.
Oh my.
Oh my.
No, honey, I think that might be
It really filled
Photoshop.
in. It really filled in.
You really grew into it, babe.
It was full sized.
You grew into it, babe.
Yeah, you came out with an adult forehead. Allie, thank you for sharing that vulnerability.
I remember the day I grew into my forehead because I went into the bathroom and I was like, something's off. Like something's
normal.
different. And I was like, my God, Allie. I was like in middle school. I was like, you grew into
This
it,
is
bitch. You did
This is
it.
your moment.
It was a big day. All right. Well, I think we're wrapping it up. Congrats on love and everyone in paradise. Any final thoughts? Do we have? I mean, there's predictions. Brandon and Serene.
I'm just gonna brace myself for
what's
the
gonna
return of
happen?
Jill.
Oh yeah, I'm scared of that.
I
I look forward to
I
Lace
can't wait
and
for the
Rodney's
return of Jill.
conversation.
What I can't wait is to how Jacob handles the return of Jill, because he's so kind of like, yeah, I'm like, what stupid shit is Jacob gonna say? Because he's gonna say something stupid.
I feel like she's gonna be like, we were naked howling. And he's like, I've been on like 7 dates where I've gotten naked with a girl.
Babe,
Yeah,
I'm naked
yes.
all the time,
Yeah.
babe.
I showed up naked.
Have you seen my leaf?
Didn't he come in naked?
All right. Well, Keaton, please let my audience know where they can find you.
This is her biggest nightmare. Wait, this is so funny.
This is my nightmare. I literally told her.
Instagram name.
My Instagram name is really mortifying to say out loud. It's just annoying, but my Instagram name is at KKEEAATTOONN. It's literally my name with every letter twice, unfortunately.
I went from on Twitter last week, Viall Nicholas 28. I'm now Nick Viall.
Wow.
Twitter reached out to me.
Thank God.
It's been a long
amazing.
time coming.
Yeah.
That is really awesome.
So find me on
Unfortunately-
Twitter.
That is so funny.
Unfortunately, I'm stuck
Keaton,
with
where can we
mine.
find your like KKE?
Yeah, I hate saying it out loud. Yeah, it's pretty rough.
I thought it was gonna be like a first Gmail kind of like Surfer Girl XO9 or
Princess
something when
Polly
you said
116
that.
hot girl.
It was
Yeah.
much better than I was anticipating.
It's just worse saying it out loud, but that's where you can find me. I'm glad you guys had me on. This was fun.
It's so good
Thanks,
to have
Nick.
you. Babe, where can people find you?
Oh, you know, Natalie Joy, 2 N's, 2 J's.
I love a good repeated letter.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. Keaton, Kiki, whatever we want to call you.
Kiki. Thanks.
I appreciate it. Don't forget tomorrow, Tino, he delivers. Make sure you do not miss that. If you haven't checked out my book yet, go to viallfiles.com. I hope that you check it out. I promise you'll be surprised. That's what I promise you.
Woo.
It will not be, it'll be better than you expected. Whatever you expected it
Will
to
be
be,
better.
I think, better. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Anything from you, ladies? Where
Live,
can people
laugh,
find
love.
you?
Oh my
Live, laugh,
God.
love.
We never say ours aloud.
No.
Oh my gosh, Nick.
So fake.
Please announce.
Well, mine is Allison.Van
My
Woo.
It's what?
Allison.Van
Okay.
Dot.
Lifford the big red dog.
Period? Or dot? Spell dot?
No, it's just a period.
ALISONDOT.
Just a dot. Just a period.
Amanda.
And Lifford the big red dog.
Hers is better.
Yes.
Clifford the...
When you have a last name that is Clifford without the C,
You
Okay.
run with it.
you got to
do it.
get
Yep.
the people what they want.
You do it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow with Tino.
Woo!
Hey guys, thanks for watching. But before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos, like our Mondays Ask Nick, especially if you're looking for some relationship stories and relationship advice, as well as our Wednesday interviews with your favorite celebrities and experts. See you next time.